Today's topic is jealousy. Give you a little background. When I did my first bodybuilding competition 3 years ago, roughly about the same time this year, it was my first ever competition. I had 4 months to get ready pretty much. It was kind of like a on the whim type of thing. I just wanted to do it and experience it. But this was my first one, and while I had a decent frame going into it, I certainly wasn't the top. And when you're going to a bodybuilding competition, you are going to get the shit judged out of you. That's exactly what it is. They're judges that are literally up there judging you, how you look, how you flex, how tanned, how oiled up you are. Essentially, they're judging the shit out of you, right? Everything they could possibly scrutinize and criticize, they're judging you for it, right? And so you're lined up backstage and you're pumping a whole bunch of sweaty, oily, testosterone-filled dudes, and they're all mean-mugging each other. I mean, normally it's a pretty nice atmosphere, but everyone's just kind of sizing each other up. And I certainly was not the biggest one out there. I'm a taller too, so my frame isn't as big. Thanks, Laura, I appreciate it. And so when you're going on stage, you're seeing all these guys who've competed for all these years, and they're just like in phenomenal shape, and they're in great shape. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, shit, there's no way I'm gonna win this. And so I kind of felt jealous of what they had and the work they put in and how they looked. And recently I had one of my group members come up today and said, she's on vacation and she was jealous of all the people, how good they looked on the beach, and she didn't feel that she looked the same way. And I think the big mistake is that when you're jealous of something, that you feel as if they have something that you don't. But essentially what we're doing is you're assuming, or we're projecting a reality that may not be true. Because for every person who you think they have the ideal life, or they have everything that you want, who's to say that they feel the same way about their circumstance, right? Because typically we find ourselves in a never-ending condition of always wanting more. We always want more and more and more, and it's never enough. And as soon as you see someone with that great body, and they must be so nice to have that life full of confidence, I'm sure they got a great husband, they got a white picket fence, and you kind of create this reality of how great their life must be based off this body that they may have. And two things: you don't know their story, you don't know how they feel about their body, and you don't know how you would feel in it. And at the same time as well, you're cutting yourself down, you're diminishing yourself down, you're saying, if only I had that, I wish I had that. And so you're perceiving yourselves from a sense of lack, a sense of not enoughness. And so jealousy stems from insecurity and a lack of knowing yourself. And much like you have a house, you are not your house. Much like you have a body, you are not your body. And if you really want to change the way that you look and feel about yourself, it's an inside-out approach, right? You have to start appreciating yourself more. You start to be more grateful for the process you're involved in. You have to start evolving and changing the way that you think about yourself if you truly want to change the way that your body looks and your relationship with it. But if you just say, I want to look like that and my life will be perfect, it may be time to rethink the way that you're viewing that. And so much like you have a body but you're not your body, you have a house, you're not your house. Once you start identifying yourself with more than just a body, which is just flesh, hair, some bones, and you actually go through the process of getting to know yourself and recreating yourself, and going through the process of actually discovering what you want your life to look like and how you want to go through it, you're going to find you're going to have all the confidence in the world that you will ever need. And you're not going to rely on your body to hold this confidence, right? The more that you place your self-identity and your worth upon the sack of flesh that's around you, you're going to go through life wishing that everything is going to be constantly different. But the more that you can connect with who you are and who you want to be and the way that you want to feel, the more you're going to be able to live life a little bit happier without having to rely on all the shame and guilt and judgment of the way that you look. You're not going to have to look in the mirror and just say, I wish that this didn't jiggle here, I wish that didn't jiggle there. It's all about your own perception of self, right? And the way that you view yourself is simply how you view yourself. It's perspective. And so you could have the best body in the world, but there's still people who don't think that they're thin enough and they're anorexic. Now, we may think that they're way too thin, but they don't think that because that's their own self-perception. And now that may be an extreme, but I just want to instill some of the comparisons that we have in terms of us not looking good enough or being good enough. And the more that we try to fuel that with, we're not enough, I just wish things were different for me, I just wish I was leaner, I just wish I was sexier. And you focus all that mental effort on the way that you look, you're going to drive that more dissatisfaction. You're going to keep fueling that shame and guilt over and over and over again. And so the way to truly make the change you want to look, and the way you look, the way you want to feel yourself, is about being more appreciative and being grateful for what you truly have, is a body. You get to use this thing on earth, and you get to walk around, you get to work out, you get to meet with your friends, it takes you places. Because if you start making that shift and that mental attitude, being fortunate for what you truly have and how you can develop it and grow it, then you're going to have fat loss being a non-issue. I'm telling you, the process is so much easier if you stop focusing on your body and how desperately you want to change it. Because the body changes as a result of the way that you think about your body. And once you realize that all those challenges you have about nutrition will never do with nutrition. Once you realize that all the challenges you had about motivation and discipline and wanting it bad enough never had anything to do with motivation, discipline, or wanting it bad enough. It's simply your perspective has been skewed and you've been taught to believe a certain way for so long, that is all that you know. If that's all you can connect with, it's very hard to see an alternative possibility. And so my invitation to you is that if you're really struggling to lose weight and you're tired of going back and forth, yo-yoing over and over and over again, and you can't seem to make the changes that you want to change, perhaps there's something that's not quite connecting with you. Maybe there's a little shift that you have to make. Hey, Paul. Hey, Jocelyn, what's up? In terms of the whole body paradigm approach to weight loss, because there is an easier way, there's a more pleasurable way, and there's a faster way of doing it. So I invite you to be open to the idea, and if you are, let's have a conversation, let's chat, and we get to the bottom of all your issues as to why it's such a struggle for you, and I can give you some clarity about how to make it a lot easier. So as always, guys, it's great to talk to you, and your interaction is always appreciated. I got to finish my workout here, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.